Hello again, guys. It is me, Sam Long again, and today I'm doing a review of X-Men: Days of Future Past, which is a film I saw about a week ago. I know it's taking me a long time to get to it, but I've just been really busy and I haven't really been able to get to the movies lately. But here are my thoughts of X-Men: Days of Future Past, and was I looking forward to it? Yes, I was. I was a little nervous for it because there were three superhero Marvel movies that were coming. There's four, and out of all four, I'd say this one I was excited for, next to Spider-Man, Captain America, and Guardians of the Galaxy, which is coming out. But anyways, I was very looking forward to it, and honest thoughts, the other X-Men movies, I really haven't watched all of them. I watched bits and pieces of the first one, and then I watched bits and pieces of the second one. And the third one I watched all of back when I was a kid. And then I watched Origins Wolverine, and oh boy, that was horrendous. That was awful. Well, that was a terrible, terrible movie. And then First Class I saw, that was actually better than Origins, and I thought the X-Men movies were gonna get worse because sequels get worse, but I'll talk about that later. But um, then I saw the Wolverine. I thought the Wolverine was actually pretty good for what it was. It wasn't perfect, but it was actually pretty decent for something like that. It was a spin-off, and spin-offs, we know how bad they can be, and that was not that bad. But this one, I was extremely looking forward to. What did I think of it? Well, let's talk about it. About the story. Now, the story for X-Men Days of Future Past takes place after the events of Last Stand and the Wolverine, and the world has gone to hell. The Sentinels have been released, and now they are hell-bent on killing all mutants and pretty much dividing humans and mutants from, like, pretty much just, what they are. And basically, now Professor X, aka Charles Xavier, played by Patrick Stewart, and James McAvoy, and Magneto, Eric Lassner, I don't think, and now Eric Lassner, aka Magneto, played by Ian McKellen, and Michael Fassbender, now have to basically go back in time and stop this future from ever happening because they're living in a very horrible future. It's it's really dark. It's just basically hell. That's what it is. Now they have to go back in time and stop this whole thing from ever happening, and they have to find a man by the name of Trask who's behind the Sentinels and basically stop him. But they have to deal with Magneto, in the past, and James McAvoy, play James McAvoy, aka Charles Xavier. Screwing that up, but sorry about that. But that's as best I can explain the story. The story actually here is pretty complicated to explain. I mean, with Captain America, that was a pretty hard to explain story. But this one I think is probably the most complex story I've had to explain yet. But I think Amazing Spider-Man is pretty much the most straightforward. But anyways, the story here I thought was really, really good. It kept me interested. Seeing how all the characters got to how they were in the next movies and how they were at the end of First Class, as Xavier, Beast, and Magneto, how they were, what happened to them. It's very interesting. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and pretty much that's the best I can explain the story. The story is really good. Now let's talk about the acting. Now the acting here I thought was really, really great. You have James McAvoy playing the young Charles Xavier and Michael Fassbender playing the young Eric Lasser or Magneto. Oh, and you have Ian McKellen and playing the older Magneto and Patrick Stewart playing the older Professor X. I don't know why I'm saying Charles Xavier so much, but anyways, I thought all the actors did a good job. I thought Mystique kind of had a bit of a big role as as kind of one of the main characters in the forefront, because if you see this movie, you know what I'm talking about. She's played by Jennifer Lawrence. I think Jennifer Lawrence is a great actress. She does a great job as Mystique. But then there's Peter Dinklage. Holy crap, he did an awesome job as Trask. And I think he was probably one of the best X-Men villains. He's one of the villains of this movie. But yeah, just this movie basically deals with just them deals with Wolverine going back in time to his older self in order to save the future and all the horrible stuff that happened in the future from ever happening. Does it work? I don't know. You're gonna have to see the movie to find out. But anyways, I know I really enjoyed it. But let's talk. I really enjoyed the acting, but how was the action? Now the action here, like, is basically just like sick. I mean, like the Sentinels, if you see this movie, the Sentinels are like freaking sick. Like they're awesome. Like they do all this stuff. I'm not gonna say what they do, but they do this. I'm not gonna say exactly what they do because it's kind of a spoiler. Where it's in like they show what they do in like the first half, but I don't want to say it really because I think that might be considered a spoiler. And basically, the the last half hour of action was probably one of the best action scenes I've seen since Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and that's saying a lot. And I saw Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man. I'll talk about that later, but really, I just thought this was a really awesome movie, but there were a few problems I have found. One is that the whole timeline going from the future to the past, like 99, I think about 85% of this movie takes place in the past, and then it's like cuts back to the present time in the future, but it gets to me it got a little hard to follow at times. Like I was like, wait, so it was easy to follow for a little while, but then after a while I got a little confused. But for what it is, and near the ending there's this one moment that my brother pointed out, and I was like, that is kind of weird. You do have a point, and just like it was sort of like with Man of Steel, it was sort of like with some of Man of Steel stuff, like how the action lasted way too long, and like some moments were really kind of goofy, like the endings. That was the thing with that. But anyways, that's really the only two gripes I had with this movie. And there's also, if you stay after the credits, you'll see for the next movie. I'm not gonna say what happens, but I thought it was really sick. We're gonna have a new villain in it. It won't be Magneto anymore. You may know if you saw the movie already. But I am very looking forward to this movie. I don't know why I'm saying looking forward to. I saw it already. But I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a great action film. I know comic book fans are really mixed about it. I know my friend went to see it and he said it was good, but it wasn't as good as he was hoping for. It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I thought it was probably one of the best comic book movies I've seen since really just like Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I like Spider-Man, but again, but on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give this probably an 8.9 out of 10. It's great, but the few moments that I thought were weird got kind of just like odd, and I thought a little bit of the timeline got a little confusing at times, but other than that, it's a great movie. Go see it if you can, if it's still playing at your theater. I'm not sure if it is, but it probably is. I had to actually go to the same theater I went to see Captain America: The Winter Soldier at. It, basically, because, yeah. But, if you love the X-Men movies and you want to see a movie that's one of the best X-Men movies in the past, probably since First Class, go see it. But, it's probably, the third best next to probably the fifth best since, I don't know, but anyways, I do recommend going to see it. It's a great time. Since basically each X-Men film I think has gotten better since Origins. First Class was great, or the Wolverine I thought was okay, and this one I thought was just really, really good. But yeah. Anyways, that is my review for X-Men Days of Future Past. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. And I hope this review has helped you go see the movie. Thank you for watching.